So, welcome to the Sold Out podcast with Coffee and Kicks.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, off to a bad start already. Now, do you want to introduce yourselves?
I'll let the eldest man go first.
Yeah, I'm Phil Boyle. So myself and James met to do Coffee and Kicks about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it was about a year and a half ago.
I was thinking that
it?
was probably somewhere last year or something. Was it? Probably.
Yeah, I started out like 15. That's crazy. Like,
You're doing
yeah.
it
So
even now.
I'm James, co-founder of Coffee and Kicks, and yeah, met Phil about a year and a half ago, and we've been going strong since. Sounds like a relationship, really. It's not a relationship.
And where did you get the idea from it? Was it from the events overseas or?
Well, no, I think Phil's brother was an architect, and he had done the architecture in Coffee Angel, so we knew we could do something in there,
yeah.
and so it just made sense to call
Yeah.
it Coffee and Kicks because it was in a coffee shop.
Well, I think before we even did that, there was that whole thing of like he was just getting into some of the photography,
Yeah.
and like doing his own shots of his own shoes and
Yeah.
things, and he wanted to shoot some of mine. That's where we met up the first time.
Yeah.
And I think it was even in that like first meeting, I think he was either going to or been to Crep City over in the UK.
I think it was gone.
Yeah, and we were just talking about how there wasn't really anything happening in Dublin for people into this stuff, whether photographers or just fans of the shoes or whatever, to get together.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, how can we do this without spending
Like,
loads
yeah,
of money
exactly,
and doing
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
like, you know, so we thought, well, let's keep it nice and simple. We'll go to a pub or a coffee shop or something and just
Yeah.
meet up then.
Because where
And,
was the very first one? That like
Wigwam.
there was a small group of us that
Wigwam.
went. Wigwam.
yeah, just on Abbey Street there.
Yeah. That was just kind of like a little unofficial thing.
Yeah, it was
I
very
think it was
last
like
minute.
2 days beforehand. We were
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, Coffee and Kicks, and then like nobody came. I think maybe 2 people came, other than Hughes, Tree, Chris, and
Yeah.
Jamie, and
Yeah, but it was just that thing. It was like, actually, get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
You know, see
Yeah.
what'll happen if we meet random people off the internet.
Yeah.
We're all going to end
exactly.
up like, you
Yeah.
know,
That was
abducted.
the same with us. Like we did a first episode that's just us two, and it's like even after 4 episodes, we've already learned so much. Like you know what I mean?
And we mentioned it in the first podcast as well. It's where you did only have 5 people on the first one.
Exactly, yeah.
But now a year later, when you had the 1 year anniversary, how many people showed up? It was like
like 200 people
solid.
there or
Yeah.
something like.
Easy.
so that shows
so,
like
yeah.
if you just consistency does lead somewhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. yeah.
And
100%.
yeah.
Like we just kept on it. You know, there was in the middle, like we ran an event and like 10 people came, and we were like, should we keep doing this?
it's a downer, but
Yeah, it was like, should we actually be putting all this energy into something that may not actually go? And then we were just like, yeah, no.
But you learn as well. I think that
Yeah.
wasn't that the week that Longitude was on last year
Something
or something
like
like
that,
that. And it's
yeah.
like, so
Literally
like,
nobody.
half your audience are
Yeah,
already.
it's already.
So
good.
next one that we're running is on Longitude. No.
meet up at Longitude.
Yeah,
Do a
exactly.
little
Bearing
video or
Kicks.
something.
Festival
Ian
Kicks.
Kicks.
Certainly interested in doing something at festivals in the future.
Yeah.
You know, like there is like, I'm sure we're getting to talking about some of it, but like there's massive crossover between the people who are into whether it's sneakers, streetwear, but music as well. Like, you know.
Yeah, big time.
And it would be great for us. We're talking about how we can put together some kind of parties for later in the year and that kind of thing. But you can see if that all goes to plan. Like, you know, other countries obviously at festivals, you'll get brands will run a little stage at a festival or do something like, you know, you see Adidas have things at Sonar all the time, whatever. Like, you know, it's like, well, why not try and get something like that going here too? Like, you know.
What do you
Especially when they're working so closely with artists as
Exactly,
well. That
yeah.
makes sense.
Well, even at that, you had Tale and Y-Axis. Is his name Y-Axis?
Yeah.
Or is that the name of the group? I don't know. Like, those boys are big into shoes and fashion now. And are big into music as well. So I think if there was a way that we could pull those both in to something, we'd be on something then.
You see it around some of the little groups in Dublin as well, like some of the guys who are making their own clothes and things as well, throwing little parties and having their mates DJing at it and all that kind of thing too, like, you know. So I think it's just a question of everyone gets their own little thing rolling, and then you need to get a few people together to try and organise all those
big
groups
event,
into kind of a bigger
It's
thing.
just
like,
you have all these little social circles, and then
Yeah.
you can just form it into this big, huge one.
Yeah.
And that's what Sneakerhead is a bit like.
Yeah.
It's just this big collective of all these, like.
I don't think a sneakerhead or that kind of term is necessarily just for people that are into shoes.
Yeah.
Like, I think most of the people that are like sneakerheads would be into like skateboarding or
exactly.
into music, or not necessarily even into shoes, but it's just the crossover between being into clothes.
yeah, there's enough commonality, like, you know, like we've talked a couple times
I
recently.
still haven't
like,
met that crossover yet.
yeah, well, that's the
like a
thing though,
bum.
we haven't, like, you know, we haven't branched out probably enough ourselves yet to try and reach out to some more of the music community or to the skateboard community or things like that as well, and we want to get more of that involved, not just with us, but like see their events,
Yeah, exactly.
get more stuff going on as well, and us just go to their events, and then ultimately when you've got all those kind of communities kind of strong, then you can put something bigger together.
Like for example, like Emporium are doing bits within the clothes scene in Dublin. So like maybe it'd be good to get in contact with Robbie or something and bring them both together and see what really
it only makes sense.
Yeah, I think by the time you want to get to something bigger, the bigger the audience you have potentially to talk to even like whether it's selling tickets or whether it's free and sponsored or whatever, but like you want the biggest audience possible to make sure it's as good as possible.
Well, I think even at that though is for me and Phil was always try and make it a free event. Well,
yeah, I think the core part of Coffee and Kicks for me was always about, okay, so like everyone is on their computer or on their
I wanted
Instagram
to say,
or
like, because when you mentioned Sneakerhead earlier, it was very there's a lot of stuff being said online that you necessarily I think it brought the community closer together, actually doing an event that you're going to see these people.
Very much so,
well, you look at Sneakerhead Ireland a couple of years ago, there was just loads of people talking shit on it, and that's all it was. And then it was funny, it was because like I used to fucking talk the shit to some people too, but it was always just retaliating. But but it was when you actually seen them and when they came to the event, it's like you're actually a cool person. Do you know what I mean? Like instead of just having a bad opinion.
That was one of the big drivers for me because I was fed up of seeing, pointless arguments between people on like Sneakerhead or things like that, where you're going, okay, I know if you two are in the same room together, you're not going to be saying that to each other, and you're actually going to agree on more things than
or at least one of you is, and anyway.
And I think we've definitely seen that since we started, at the events, there's been, even like new friendships pulled out of this whole thing, little groups of people who never saw each other in the real world now hanging out and that kind of thing,
So it's the common interest that I feel that can make the relationship so much easier to build and stuff. Because everyone's there for the same reason.
It's even that. It's like, let's just say you were talking to somebody in the scene or whatever, and like you wanted to do a photo shoot, or you just wanted to meet up because he's thought that you were similar or whatever. Well, it's a good place to meet up for the first time because
you get a lot of contacts. Like
it's a pretty safe environment too.
It's kind of interesting as well. Like you have that thing where like it's way easier online if someone doesn't like the thing that you like to kind of lash out at them. And when you get them all in the room there, you still have the same groups of people who like, some of them who are mad into all the Yeezys, some of them who are mad into just the old stuff,
it's a huge contrast,
and they'll actually agree to disagree in person or go, actually, well, that isn't that bad when you see it in real life or whatever.
Peter Kendrick is the biggest person for that. I mean, shit, like he just absolutely assaults Yeezy like every single weekend. It's like, oh, that is just pure shit. I'm just like, but like, people are not just into Air Max 1s anymore. It's evolved. Go with it or just don't say anything bad about it. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I in
However,
general,
I still respect his opinion.
Yeah, in general, I agree with that idea. Like, I think it's fine if you're going to criticize something, be critical about it for a reason and like give a good point. Yeah, and like as opposed to just go, that's rubbish or that's shit or that's whatever. Like but I would much rather see people just be positive about the things that they're into more often, and just like if someone else likes something you don't like, just forget about it.
It's only a shoe or something. You don't have to buy it. Like
exactly. It's literally only a shoe. And like people take that so personally, like it's a shoe, man. You know what I mean? Like it's a shoe. Like although I still love them, it is literally just a shoe. Like I have several orders at home. Like
is it too early to mention Supreme in front of you?
bit early. Yeah, I mean there's about 12 Supreme stickers on that yoke there. Like.
You're not a fan?
No, I fucking hate it. I don't understand it. I understand it at the start when it was, for people that were into skateboarding. I fucked with it then, but then it's like now it's just.
How old are you when that was?
About 2. But,
I think Supreme's older than you.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I get what was so appealing about it then, but now it's just kind of that thing of. I think that people are just like trying too hard when they wear Supreme sometimes.
They diluted it a bit too much.
Yeah, definitely. But it's like even like Jesus. I think I went to SneakerCon and it was like 12-year-olds wearing it like head to toe with Supreme. I was like,
it's success problems. Like you go back 5 years and look at Off-White and where Off-White was to where it is now and that kind of thing. It's like okay, so like you're probably sick of seeing Off-White at this stage around. Like you see the length of the rails in Brown Thomas with it now. Like
it's gotten a lot better.
But it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And
I remember when it used to just be the one rail, like they had 3 different t-shirts or something, and it's crazy now because Saint Laurent is one rail and now Off-White is a whole wall.
Exactly, this kind of thing. But like that's now like for me, I think the interest in Off-White probably peaked 3 or 4 years ago with the kind of geometric designs and just seeing it and like that's interesting. Like it's nothing new. It's done like 10 years before and 20 years before. But it's just interesting to see it again, whatever. But now I'm kind of sick of the same idea just being done again. If you get me, like and I think that's the same with any brand that gets really popular. You're going to see Supreme all over the place. You're going to see Off-White all over.
Well, there's one of the
Yeezy on feet all over the place. Like,
well, did they not get taken over by a big corporate company?
I was going to talk about that a bit because
which one, Supreme?
Yeah,
because that was a couple of months ago.
They took in investment money.
Yeah, well, investment money means more.
So I believe the idea is that they're opening up more retail spaces. So it probably means an increase in stock.
It's two things, yeah. So they've already increased the stock production apparently, which is why you see things not all being sold out.
But they've a lot of stock, yeah. But most of it shit. It's like the whole release was about 50 things, but then you're like one thing and you're like, yeah, it's actually all right. But then it's like the 50 other things are shit, and they just sit in the shop. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it was when I went over to London, I went into the Supreme store. The fella that was working there was a wanker.
Well, you see, that's part of the brand, though. They're supposed to be a street culture brand. They don't really care about customer service. That's part of the authenticity of it.
Like,
that's the idea.
Who the fuck comes up with that? But how does that make sense? I was about to
ask, if you take on investment money, do you think they're going to start getting away from that authenticity?
Getting into nice people to work. Well, you can't really say that either, though, because it's Palace. I went into Palace, which was around the corner, and every one of them was sound.
But they're still a lot smaller, though.
I wouldn't say they're too much smaller. Not at the moment.
They would be, in terms of sales and things, they would be definitely.
In sales, but they've definitely got a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, but I think, but this is the thing though. Like Supreme, I would say at this stage, fair play to them for what they've built, their success and all that kind of thing. But they're like you talk about them being authentic. There's no way that they're like an authentic skate brand anymore. Like they're a big fashion thing. Like they've had their Louis Vuitton moment. They've had they're opening up new shops. They've taken on. What was it, 100 million or something in investment money?
Well, they've gone up to 1 billion and the
that
overall
valuation of the company. So. But like, so like they're no matter how hard they tried, they can't be an authentic skate experience.
That new store, was it in New York?
Brooklyn, I think.
Brooklyn, that was sick though. Like that was a cool store.
See, I think there's going to be more of them. I don't know how many more stores they're opening, but it's going to be a few.
It's going to come to Dublin,
and I think you're going to see it go probably like Bape. Where probably back in the day, like the shark hoodies would have been exclusive, like the box logo, but now it's like
exactly. You can walk into Selfridges and buy one.
But, so they'll have like a main collection, and then they'll still do their like mastermind collab, or they'll still do something like that.
And they'll keep some things exclusive to in store and whatever, like there'll be all that. But like the whole thing, if you're taking on that kind of money, it can only mean they're trying to up the volume of what they sell, and that means more online and more locations.
Because it is interesting, like you say, when you go to the store, it's empty on the inside. Like there's nothing from Supreme inside the shop like anymore.
Well, all the interesting stuff is gone.
I hated my experience there in the Supreme store. Like but I don't think as you're a street brand or whatever. I don't think that gives you the right to be an asshole. Like and he was like the guy that was there was a proper
what
asshole.
What did you do?
Nothing. Like I don't know. Like I actually bought some stickers, and he was just like. He was just like looking at me, and like his attitude was just like.
This is the guy that Till was it?
Yeah. Right. But he was the head fella, the guy who was like 20,000 followers on Instagram. It was that guy. I was just thinking like, fucking asshole. But then I did though. I went to Palace then, and they were all like, they were just so interested in what I was over for, and then told them Crep City, and they were like, oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't follow Crep City on Instagram.
I didn't talk to any of the staff in either of them, but like just the stock in the London shop in Supreme. Anything good is gone the day they come out. Like so, like there's hardly any point in even walking into them. Like
it was the same with Palace. Everything.
Palace is a little better. You still have some of the stuff on shelf.
There's some bits like you're lucky if they even have boxes on Supreme. Like like if they're in stock when you go in, you're lucky. Like
100%.
And what do you think of Virgil then joining Off-White as well? Because it's the same sort of trajectory where
joining Louis Vuitton.
It's the exact same trajectory. Like it's interesting.
I kind of like him. I think he's a cool guy.
So I would have thought you would have been following on this side the whole time.
I think he's a cool guy. I love the way he was able to build a business up so big by just using a mobile phone more or less, and a laptop or whatever. Like, not like I think it's cool, but I think it's like when you see like 12-year-olds wearing it, like that's just when it totally kills it for me. Like, but. Nah, I like what he's done. I like his style as well.
You talk about authenticity again, like I don't think he's ever made any bones about the fact that he's just out to be as big as possible as quick as possible and all that kind of thing. Like I think you know, the trajectory you talk about is just the way I look at it from a kind of a art direction point of view. It's just borrow cool things, borrow
ready-made,
inspired, whatever you want to take it, and sell them back to people. Like you know, and like he went through the same kind of Supreme model of keep it exclusive at the start and just kind of expand. It seems to have worked for him. Like it, you know, I can't think of anything that's gotten that
fucking
big
right,
that fast in the last.
He charges like 250
aside from Yeezy, but they're all from the same core, you know.
I mean, go to Pennies.
Okay.
Like if you go to Pennies, how much you spend? Like 250 quid or whatever, 220 I think it is for a t-shirt off white, isn't it? Like Jesus Christ, I think t-shirts and Pennies are 350.
It's like 250 or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like I prefer that. Honestly, I prefer like fucking 400 fresh t-shirts. Like do a t-shirt every day.
Do some DIY screen prints yourself, do some DIY screen
you
prints
could, like
yourself.
you could just. Do you know what's actually pretty cool? Do you know when you like dip a paintbrush and then you like flick it? That, I think that's pretty cool.
That'd be his
Do
new
that.
range.
Yeah, exactly.
Autumn, winter.
Flick t-shirts. Flick it.
I think like him going to Louis Vuitton now is going to be interesting to see what they actually do.
Yeah.
Like the price point.
Yeah, especially.
It's going to be like so are they going to do like either lower costs Louis
Like
Vuitton
that.
stuff, or are they going to do even more expensive than even what Off-White is for basics? And
Have you
like,
seen the preview for his new thing? I thght it was actually pretty cool. They got a like it was a top, and they got like a piece of the handbag, and like stuck it on it, but like it was only tiny, like it was only like a little square, like it was a little tiny bag, and they like kind of glued it onto it, and you can like open it up, like, and then it's on the t-shirt. I thought that I think that's cool. Like,
I
can't hate on the man for that.
but,
Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be like 1,000 quid.
Yeah.
Oh, easily.
But like, I mean, it's kind of interesting because the Louis Supreme was like $350 for a hoodie, so that's under Off-White retail.
Oh, it wasn't. No, it was like.
Was it not?
No,
I thought it was £350.
£650.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm thinking of the t-shirt then.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah,
the t-shirt
650 sterling for the hoodie.
I didn't realise.
I'd still pay it though, and sell it.
And then sell it for like $6,000. Like,
I seen a really
cancelled my
fake
order
one the other day.
They did.
Oh yeah, he got one and he cancelled the order. Hate that.
Do you remember where it is?
The Supreme Louis Vuitton hoodie.
the red one with
Got
the
one on-
monogram pattern all over.
Got one on the Louis Vuitton website and they cancelled it.
Yeah.
If they had actually given it to him, he wouldn't be here now. He'd be like sitting on a beach somewhere.
They weren't worth that much.
Free holiday, like.
Yeah, but like you're gonna sell that for like $6,000. They're going for like $6,000 now, aren't they?
Probably.
Yeah, 5 or 6 grand. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Why would you pay $6,000 for a hoodie like?
Because you're a rapper and you want it for your video.
$6,000. Yeah, they probably like buy it once and then they sell it. Do you know what I mean?
That's why they have those big stores, like the big resale stores. What's the current one in New York?
Round 2 Urban Necessities.
Yeah, all of these ones anyway. Like, you know, you get the footballers going, rappers
they don't
going,
care.
whoever, and it's just like, I need this thing because I'm doing a photo shoot or I'm doing a video or doing whatever, and it's like the money doesn't matter. It's just like so.
It's crazy shit. Like imagine being able to walk into a store and be like, fuck it, $6,000. Like, like $6,000. Like
Just watch
that's a lot of
sneaker
money.
shopping.
That's a lot of money. Like,
Yeah.
see, Neymar spent like 18 grand sneaker shopping. 18. I wonder how much he was given for that to spend though. Like, would you say Complex are giving him money to be spending?
Well,
I
they
think he
pay
doesn't
him
pay.
for appearance.
I don't think.
But I don't know. I don't know how it would work.
I love how they lie in those videos about how much they're actually worth the shoes. It's like,
exactly.
this Yeezy's €220.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
it's
They
like
show the
1,500
retail.
quid.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then when he goes to check out, though, it's like, whoa, how come it's like $5 grand? Like, you know what I mean?
Whoops.
Yeah. And
Still pays.
like, like talking about.
Oh, it's only $5 grand. Yeah, grand.
Like talking about Yeezy, I suppose Phil, you'd probably have the best idea. But like, what was the sneaker community in Ireland like before Yeezy? Because like, I feel like that brought in the majority of people in sneakerhead Ireland. Like,
yeah, well, it's all a question of timing. I think so. Way back, sneakers were much harder to get. There weren't that many shops in Dublin got any nice ones anyway. And so you would take your trip to New York or your trip to London, and you'd find some boutique,
Never
and
took
you'd
a trip
get
to New York in my life.
and you get like one pair of shoes that were cool that no one else in Dublin had, and it was just like a little bit like that. Like you go back to Peter, like Peter used to go over to London a lot.
Yeah,
and he was in with he was in with all the music people then. And back then, again, like that was one of the ways I got into sneakers as well. Like all the music bands and things either collaborated on like art on sneakers and things like that or whatever. And so he would be over there quite regularly and pick up things, and you would have like tiny little pockets of community, like really tiny little pockets of community who knew what was going on and knew when a limited release was coming out or whatever. But it was all before the internet properly. It was before you had sneakerheads or Facebooks or whatever.
Speaking of Yeezys, actually, the Turtle Doves sat in Dublin in the Dublin store for like a couple of hours.
Yeah. But
I think Steve Donegan went in and got a few pairs.
That's kind of my point as well, though. It's like, so before there was proper internet forums for this and Facebook and things like that, like no one really knew. Yeah. It's like unless you were on the ground in your London or New York or Paris and in a bigger community there, you didn't really know in Dublin.
Yeah, I think it was just if you walked into a shop, you bought what you liked. And
a handful of people knew, and that's why you got things like that in. But it was like just that coincidence of time that Yeezy brand started just as Facebook groups were getting big and all this kind of thing, and then suddenly the rumor mill goes out that there's a shoe that's like 200 quid today and it's 500 quid tomorrow, and then like every kid wants one. And it's like it was almost overnight, that kind of thing, like
it happened really quickly.
Yeah, and it's like but it's like any commodity now on the internet. Like as soon as people know that there's something in demand, people are going to try and buy it.
They're fully familiar with reselling.
It's like it's like concert tickets. Like before
that's been going on for
forever. Like and like the same thing. Like
supply will never meet.
People talk about bots for sneakers. People probably don't know as often that actually the people who type tickets write software to buy all the tickets as well as bots as well. Like it's all the same thing. Like And so it's just that idea of anything that's going to be, limited. Buy one price, sell another price. There's always going to be this kind of crazy demand when the internet's involved, and just I guess it came along then that the Yeezy stuff was the first one that probably most people got aware of then at the same time, and that's what kind of changed that, or probably brought a lot of attention to it. Yeah.
Because it probably started with the Nike one though, even.
Yeah, but I think even. Did they even hit Dublin? I don't think they did.
I doubt it. I think it was online.
The the Nike Yeezys.
Like even the first ones, like
they didn't come here now.
But like just the even the first 350s and things come to Dublin, or the first 700s or something come to Dublin. I don't think for the very first ones like the Turtle Doves or like the 700s, people really knew on the ground here. A handful of people knew, but like on the ground, people didn't really know. And it was when the Facebook stuff started off.
Yeah, and even Instagram and stuff was getting slowly more popular.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then that allowed everyone to like flex it afterwards.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, like you can criticize it because then it drives that whole resale culture and all that kind of thing. But on the other side, none of us would be sitting in this room together now if this kind of like the two
if there wasn't a bit of
discussion
about it. Like.
Exactly. Yeah. And
I think the biggest thing about the whole sneaker thing is for people like even like myself, it's about making the initial investment, even though you might know that you're going to make money on it. Like some people just so skeptical and just
I think reselling is or like buying something to sell it is kind of acceptable when you are buying it to buy another shoe. Do you know what I mean? Like you buy that one, flip it, and then you get the shoe that you've wanted for ages. But there's people that like make a living on it. Like there's a guy called his name is not Retro Shop Paris, but you get the gist. And like I'd say he's making a buck. Like he's over in Paris. And that's his
there's a handful
job,
of them,
like.
But there's a handful of them. They're the guys who like work it for years.
But they're the ones that are spending lots of money, but then are also making lots of money.
Like you have to know what's going to happen. You have to know what's going to be in demand. All that
like
stuff.
Like you've seen loads of people like buying shoes, even the Yeezys now, and then it's like, oh well, you're only actually going to get like $250 for them. Oh fuck! I thought I was going to get like 200 quid. Like I've been waiting on this all month. Well. But
that's the job of the full-time resellers to know that stuff way in advance about how limited anything is and that kind of thing. Like so someone like Retro Shop, he would have connections at some of the factories via some plugs, whatever, to get a couple of samples or things like that. Like he's always getting those NMD samples. You know,
selling out for like 10 grand and stuff like that.
But then he lives in Paris, where there is a glut of Nike Lab shops and Adidas flagship places and all this kind of thing, which means that he backdoors obviously from loads of places. He doesn't even get them all from one place. He'd be getting like a few from here, a few from there, a few from here. So he always has enough of anything to supply whatever. Like you can't do that in Dublin. There's just not enough stock to go around in Dublin for any release. Like like we're lucky to get any of the top tier stuff here at all. Like and so like
well, nowhere are doing bits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nowhere.
But like that's only recent as well. Like and even you look at the Witherspoon getting into a few shops, it's still only like a handful of pairs going into each shop and that kind
How
of thing.
How many pairs of them came to Dublin actually?
About 100.
About 100, yeah.
I didn't get fucking one. Still salty about that actually. Like Yeah, really salty.
Is that your shoe of the year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
There hasn't been anything really that has came out.
What do you think of the 700s?
Yeah, I'm on them.
Yeah.
They're not bad. I don't think I could pull them off, but I like that one that is like kind of black with the vault kind of color. Yeah, grainy.
Yeah.
Yellow. I like that.
I think the V1
but how much
ones
is that?
are
Is that like
better than the
300 quid?
V2 ones.
Yeah.
Is that like 300 quid retail?
350, I think.
300, yeah, it should be 300. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not spending.
they still haven't dropped in Europe at all yet, so
Yeah,
still don't know exactly. But
Skep the BWs as well.
Yeah.
That was a big shoe. Probably try and buy that when I go to London, but again, resale is like 350 I think at the moment. So
it's very tempted by the last Alexander Wang Adidas that came out.
Sure, they're on like sale on SNS and all at the moment.
Not the one from before. I think the one from before is not the very recent one. But like, yeah, they're like retails 220 on them as well. Like, you know, so might wait for a sale.
I think they just go like, I think they've like got one person that works in like Adidas or something. They just like bring the shoe to him. And they're like, much should we charge for that? 300. You know, 220.
Does it have boost? Does it not have boost?
Yeah.
Add another 50 boost.
Yeah, exactly. Add another 50.
It's slowly creeping up the retail prices.
It is crazy.
Remember, like Ultra Boosts were like what 180? They're like 200, 220.
I'm still 180 for a general.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
I remember. I think there was 163 in size.
Yeah, it's just all those. Well, you get that with some of the English shops that the prices kind of fluctuate a bit. Like
madness.
That's what one of the things about the Off-White 10 is like. I copped a pair of the Blazers for retail, and they were 125.
Yeah.
You got them for retail?
Yeah.
Did you actually?
125 though.
Yeah.
Like for a limited sneaker like that, it's like unheard of for like.
But it's not the 10 anymore. It's like 50,000.
Exactly.
Like, you know that kind of thing.
How many different colours?
Well, no, the 10 is the 10 shoes, not the colorways.
Oh really?
Yeah.
No, I like the Mercurial 4% or Vaporflies. They were pretty good.
Were they the orange ones or the black ones?
They were both.
Oh
Mercurial.
yeah, it's just that drop
I like that. But I get the black ones.
Yeah.
Because black's just easier to wear. Like orange, that'd be gonna be hard. Like especially what's that? The shoe called that's coming out? Young one.
Yeah, that was my problem with that one is.
Yeah, but the pictures were yummy
like,
though, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
They were like the pictures were good, but like if you saw someone on the street like in real life, then you're like.
Yeah, and do you know what? Like I'm fairly big feet. Like I think they'd look ridiculous on me. I think they'd look like.
Are they chunky
shoes.
like in?
Yeah, no, they're not actually. They're not too chunky.
Not too bad, like.
I've only seen them in small.
I only seen like a size 4 or something of them. Like,
yeah.
I can only imagine what a big size.
But like some of the teaser pictures, like the Goku ones and stuff, like they looked so much nicer, I think, than those orange ones. Like,
yeah,
I think it was a weird choice to put them on the.
I think they're still coming out though, aren't they?
Oh yeah, there'll be loads of them over the year. I think so. The orange one, they were the first on foot ones back in January. I think at one of the fashion weeks or something.
Yeah,
and I think that's just
why I like it. Yeah. Because I was just thinking if they wanted to kind of push a shoe, maybe they should just put out something more versatile first. Like
I think Adidas are going a bit mad with the OG colours, aren't they?
Well, the first kind of leaked colours of the young one was that kind of just all cream one. Before that,
that's
actual on foot shots were coming
what's
out.
the name of that shop in New York?
No, that's a different one again.
I don't think it is.
It is, yeah. Someone I saw it on Twitter last night because someone said exactly the same thing, and then they put 2 pictures of them side by side, and they're slightly different.
Yeah, 2 different.
But what's the name of the shop though?
No, I forget.
It's an exclusive, like the good.
You have to buy $1,500 worth of clothes to get the shoe.
Fuck off.
Yeah. And it's basically a cream young one with a gum. Like
and to be fair, those women's technos look much the same as well.
Yeah.
M2Ks, they're pretty cool.
And the Falcon, the women's young one.
I prefer the Falcon.
I think the Falcon actually looks as a nicer shoe. Yeah. Not sure about the colorway, but it looks nicer shoe.
Because it's neater.
Yeah.
There's still some chunky bits on. I suppose it is a chunky shoe, but you're just thinking like, did that need to be that chunky? Like, it was just a little bit less. It'd be nice. But
what about you guys? Would you get 700s or?
Yeah, I'm even really looking forward to the black 500s.
Yeah.
Like I'm really looking forward to them because
I
I really like the blushes, but I just didn't like the color. Like, but I just kind of looked at them. And I was like, they're gonna get too dirty down Ireland. Like, cause they were.
Did you not keep them?
No, like they were very close to white.
Oh,
like,
shame.
I know.
Jesus Christ, man.
But
but now you can buy.
Are you a reseller?
Oh, definitely.
Are you a reseller? No, I really like the.
Yeah, no, I think they're really nice.
I think they look way better in the black.
Yeah.
I'm still not a big fan of that bulby kind of sole thing they have on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they look better in the black anyway. Yeah.
And what you got going on in the whole DJ?
Yeah, so I guess like I started way back when I was just going to college, I used to practice at home. We'd go home after lectures and things like that and just practice at home. Started doing some house parties with mates. Then a bit like the whole coffee and kicks thing. It's like, you know, rather than wait for someone to come to you and do something, I just started doing my own nights in some clubs, and then from that, people in bigger clubs asked me to come and play at their clubs, and then just kind of snowballs like that over time. Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I guess ever since probably a couple of years into DJing, I've been resident somewhere, you know, so there's like, you know, a club that runs for 4 years here or 3 years here or whatever. And on the back of that, then especially you get asked to do things like festival things or even big corporate things or whatever, like, you know. And so Longitude's done that now the last.
I saw you were playing District 8 there recently, weren't you?
Yeah, just last weekend. Playing there with a Canadian DJ called Tiga. And actually, weirdly, like back like 2003, 2004, I used to book the nights into that venue. But it's been around forever. Like, you know, it's like it's a good big spot, nice big sound system to play on as well.
Are you looking forward to Deadmau5 playing there?
Oh yeah, when's that?
I don't know. It's November sometime.
Yeah, funny. So I supported him as well.
Really?
In,
oh shit.
The Olympia. Yeah.
When was that? Like a couple of years ago.
I was trying to think of the dates of that because that all happened really quickly as well. It was like because he went from, you know, relatively small to doing an Olympia show. To the same year doing Three Arena. And then I think the next year he was like the headline of Oxygen. Literally from like, you know, hundreds of people.
And now he's back to District 8.
I don't even know why he's doing that or what the crack is. I haven't read up on it or anything, like, you know, but I imagine
I didn't get a ticket.
Yeah, I imagine that he's trying out something new or something like that. Like, you know, he seems like someone who likes to kind of burn everything down and start again and all that kind of thing every now and again. So maybe he's just kind of going, okay, I'm going to try reconnect, because I know, like, on a much smaller level, like, you know, I've gone from doing, you know, whether it's parties in a room like this with 50 of your mates to hundreds of people in a nightclub to thousands of people at a festival.
50 people in there.
Oh, you would. Just turn the table up. But like, one thing you do notice when you do those, that as the shows get bigger, you get more and more disconnected from the crowd. You know, and like, especially if you're using that kind of energy you get from what you do, from feedback from the crowd. You know, when you get to those super huge shows, you're kind of playing at them rather than with them, you know. And I think sometimes it's really good to reconnect. At like,
what would you say is like the optimal? Is it like 200 or 300 maybe?
I don't know. Something like District 8 when it's full would hold about, like, that main room would hold about 1,000 people. And I think up to that you can still be quite connected to most people in the room, because you can see that you can see everyone's face if their lights are on. Like, you can see every part of the room.
There's something you can't even see the end of the crowd. Like,
I did a gig at the dance arena in Oxygen, which was a massive big kind of a warehouse of a thing, and I think it held like 6,000 people when it was full. And as luck would have it, in proper Irish fashion, it started raining during my set, so the whole thing just completely filled up. But that particular year they had a lot of live acts on as well, so the stage was set up that the live acts would be at the front, and then they built the riser for DJs at the back of the stage. But that's a huge area, and so you're up on this big thing back,
but you're another couple,
and then there's a whole empty stage in front of you, and then there's the big security pit before that, and then so the first person who's actually watching you is already 50 may as well be 50 meters or something like that, like, you know. And even with 6,000 people there, you're still a bit like, I can't see anyone's actual face reaction to anything. I can see, like, when I do something and hands go up or something or lights happen or whatever, but like, you're not really you're not really in it, like, you know. And I think
press the button, the hands go
up. And I think with that level of disconnect, especially when you get that big and that famous for those things, like, you know, big bands even, like, you know, it's like, it's all so rehearsed, and, you know, it always has to sound perfect and all that kind of thing, that all the danger goes out and that kind of thing. So I think for someone like Deadmau5, whatever, I'm glad to see him do something smaller shows that kind of reconnect as well, and go, like, you know, you kind of want to prove to yourself, like, you know,
you can still do it, like,
well, just even the assumptions you make when you're playing something, do they stand when the crowd is smaller and it's not just now. It's kind of different when someone's already super famous again, like, you know, so like, actually weirdly you'll probably get even crazier fans just at that show, like, you know, but it's still nice to see, like, you know, it's a better connection. So the Red Bull area at Longitude then is just off the main stage.
Do you know what day you're playing?
It's Sunday night. So last thing on Sunday night.
Get
I
your
think
tickets now.
yeah.
Are you all sold out?
Sundays did chill out day though.
Yeah, typically, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the first year I did Friday, the second year I did Saturday, and now I'm doing Sunday this year. So just try them all.
Yeah.
Just,
I'd love to go to the Friday one, but like, I just don't want to spend money.
Yeah, I don't
good
know,
acts
like,
this year.
Post
Yeah,
Malone,
I don't know like what they're all sold out for the first 2 days, are they?
Yeah.
I think so. Anyway,
Is
I think it's
that
always
the-
the way because it's not a bank holiday as well. Like, so the Sunday's always going to be a harder one to sell.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but they aim for. I think they aim for an older crowd on the Sunday as well.
Yeah.
Which day do you want to go? Friday.
Probably Friday, yeah. If Skepta was gone, I'd definitely go.
Are you guys going to it?
Yeah, I got all 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get the day off work or something.
Get the
Oh.
one day off.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I kind of want to go Friday. I think.
Yeah.
As well. I don't know.
Yeah, if I was gonna go, it'd be Friday. But
All the good
I'd
stuff
take the
starts
weekend
after work
ticket.
anyway.
So
Like,
we
you
want
don't
to
really need
Yeah.
to be there for.
Yeah, that's
true.
what I'm in work as well in the Blanche Industrial Estate, and
Yeah.
by the time I get out to there, it's gonna be the good acts. So I'm not that disappointed.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of bummed out as well. But nothing you can do, honestly.
Take a half day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or just quit.
Put a sick.
Oh,
You've just said it on camera now. You can't do that.
did I follow you on Instagram?
Nah, nothing.
Edit.
None of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep that disconnected.
It is interesting how they fully embraced hip hop because they were all kind of rock a couple of years ago, weren't they?
Yeah, well, I think it was just it was a new project. I think
Yeah.
they basically went, okay, so we'll try and do something that's a bit, I guess, a little bit electric picnicky or something like
Yeah.
that, but in Dublin, you
Yeah.
know. And I think very quickly they realised that the main audience for that would be younger rather than older.
Mm.
So the first year that they did it, it was a really eclectic mix of bands
Yeah.
and things. It was really good, but
Yeah.
it was like it
It was
was
a bit all
everything
over
from
the place.
Kraftwerk and all that kind of thing to the dance music stuff,
Yeah.
to some hip hop stuff, whatever. I think they realised as well, especially like within a year or two, they dropped the age to come into 16 instead of 18, and that then meant that they had that whole audience
Coming
to tap
in,
into,
yeah.
and then that really is what drove the direction of where the music went as well.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it's very much aimed at
It's,
16 to
yeah.
kind of 23 probably
Yeah.
is the age group that you would get for most of it, at least
Yeah.
anyway, Friday and Saturday anyway. So.
Yeah, that's true.
What I'm doing is going to be so anticlimactic.
What do you mean?
It doesn't go near what he's done.
Well, that's what I wanted to say. Like, you're doing bits now with Size. How did that kind of come about?
Not really. Like we are and we aren't. Like, so friend Morgan works for Size, and then so he kind of put us in contact with the head of social media or whatever. But nothing's really locked down or nothing's really happening.
Yeah.
But we're allowed to go in and
Yeah.
get some bits out early and take some photos.
And they're kind of supporting the Coffee and Kicks thing. a bit.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, they're behind that. But like it's really good. I got the Sean Weatherspoons, got to shoot those.
Yeah. Didn't get to keep them though.
No, I was tempted to rob them. Like there's like
Did they give
every
you your
couple of
size?
pairs of shoes.
Did they even tease you with your size?
They asked me what size that I want. I goes, give me an 8 or else I'll rob my size. Like if you give me anything bigger than that. So yeah, but like no, they're totally behind it.
Yeah.
And they give us shoes to shoot weeks in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they all know that it serves them as well.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, for us to be able to get these things out to our
Supporting
audience
the
or whatever,
community
like,
as
yeah,
well,
exactly. You know, and like we want every part of the community to thrive here, whether it's the shops themselves, whether it's
Yeah.
us doing what we're doing,
Yeah,
whether it's people
exactly,
doing
yeah.
events, whether it's whatever. Like,
Kind of
you know,
just
and
helps
so,
everybody out.
yeah, obviously sometimes there's some paid stuff to do, sometimes it's just free stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but it's just we just want the whole thing to lift rather than like, you know, just support one person.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I suppose one of the highlights for me anyway, I don't know about you, Phil, but was like working with Puma. So I thought that was so cool. Like, you know, we went over and we seen some really cool shoes that has yet to come out still. So for a brand like Puma to recognise us,
Yeah. It's big, like.
Was that
it was
the
amazing.
Sonic the Hedgehog ones?
Yeah.
They look pretty
But
sweet.
we had shot the OG version of that shoe
Oh, shit.
a couple of weeks beforehand, the RS Zero, which was
Yeah, when we were over March, was it February, March?
You were
No,
talking about it in one of the last episodes of the podcast, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Like it was cool. Like so, we went over and like to their HQ in London, and they showed us basically the whole of autumn winter.
Yeah.
You know, so this
What's
was
their
like
planning?
probably 3-4 months before even the first bits of it dropped. Like
Yeah.
you know, and it's like yeah. So like the idea for us is, you know, there's some bits of the Puma stuff we like, some bits we don't like, and it's like okay, so we kind of like that thing, we kind of like that thing. So when they start coming around on the calendars, it's like, well, can we do a little
Do some
campaign
more.
around that for you or whatever, like you know, and then it's like. So Nowhere stocks some of that stuff, and Lifestyle stocks some of that stuff, or whatever. And it's just like, okay, so maybe we tie up with some of the shops and then get do something with them, or do a launch party, or do a competition, or all this kind of stuff. So it's just, there's a lot of networking involved in it, and really just going, okay, so like what things really either, just purely from us, we really want to push some things that we think are great, or what things do the shops really want to push, or what does the brand want to push,
and that could all be different. Or,
exactly. And it's just really trying to juggle those things and go, okay, so what are we into at the moment? Like,
it's really exciting for me anyway, being fairly young, turning a hobby into more or less a business. That's what I'm focusing on for the next year now.
You have this whole summer ahead of you as well.
Yeah, so just finished leaving cert. So it was funny, I've been in town the last 2 days shooting shoes, like, not getting paid for them or anything like that, but it's putting the work in for
exactly.
that.
It's a portfolio almost.
Yeah, well, it's that too, but it's getting to put that work in now, while I'm not getting paid for anything, really perfecting my craft.
Yeah, you go back to when I started doing the DJing, I literally DJed at home for 2 years before I ever played in front of anyone. And that before he's doing much real work with brands or shops or things like that, all the stuff that he does now is going to stand him, maybe head and shoulders above other people just starting whenever he comes around to doing something.
No, like, you've been putting in really good work, like.
Yeah, I started PLC in September as well. So
gonna get even better.
Yeah, I didn't do good enough to get into college because Coffee and Kicks took up most of my time.
Blame me, are you?
Yeah, I actually am. Yeah, no, I kind of regret that, but then I really don't.
Yeah.
Like, I think the only time when I regret it is when I'm in bed and I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should have put an extra bit of effort. But then I'm like, this year I've worked with Brad Thomas. This year I've worked with Puma. Through Coffee and Kicks, obviously. But like,
you're not even 17 yet, though.
Yeah,
so like, do this stuff, do the PLC, get a load of experience doing all the stuff we're going to do over the next year, and by the time you're hitting 18, you could go whichever way you want to go to
Millionaire
college,
by
go
25.
to
100%.
whatever.
That's the plan.
And especially with practical skills, it's almost better to have like that.
It'll all link in together eventually. You'll figure it out. Just do what you want.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
That's the plan.
Or it'll just go to shit and I'll do nothing. But we'll see.
And on that bombshell.
Do you have any events coming up for Coffee and Kicks?
We're
any venues?
going for the 21st of July.
Yeah, so we're hoping that the next one's going to be 21st of July. And then we're going to try and do something. We're just trying to work out the dates now. It's like, I think probably makes sense to wait to do something a little bit bigger when all the students are kind of back in town again. Because summers is always a bit weird with people either on holidays or festivals or different bits and pieces. Like, so I reckon we'll do a kind of one of our regular events probably 21st of July, and then ideally we're going to try and do some kind of a bigger party then in September, I think. So
Yep,
sounds perfect.
that's it.
Thanks again, guys, for coming in, and
thanks for having
do
us.
you want to plug out your Instagram and all just at the end?
James Fagan _ first link in the bio, and then there's Coffee and Kicks too. Coffee and Kicks, like the and is in there with an underscore at the end, and then there's Ghostboy with about 12 million underscores.
One between every letter, just to keep it easy.
But like, is there one before the G, or is it G and then an underscore?
It'll pop up on screen.
Yeah,
you'll find it. Yeah.
Right here.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Cheers, guys.